Today we got a question from a young man, a college student, apparently a Hindu. His question is, why should I be a Hindu? It's a very welcome question. Even Vedanta welcomes this question because Vedanta doesn't try to say, I say you believe. Vedanta never says that. So it is in accordance with the Vedanta tradition, I can say. In olden days, when we did not have any option, when we were born, for example, when we were born in India about 70 years ago, uh, then of course we never knew that there were some other religions. So we were brought up in a particular religion, and we never questioned as to what exactly is this religion and what are the problems and what are the fault lines, etc., and what are the positive points in other religions. And naturally, we never knew that. Gradually, we came to know what exactly they are. And then when the two dominant religions, particularly the two dominant religions, means that is Islam and Christianity. When they say that their policy, according to their own doctrine, is that they have to dominate the whole universe, they have to dominate the whole earth, and on the in the entire world, all the people have to be converted into their own religion. So that is their doctrine, and they do say that openly. They do say that openly, and we don't say that. Anyway, when that is the and also they try to project both people. They try to right now our country or India is the playing field for both the religions, and they both want to grab it. They both want to have it. Maybe like they have done in Africa and other places, they will try to divide the country into two groups. One is a Christian bloc, and one is say the Islamic bloc. And after that, what will happen? After that, there will be no peace. Right now in the world, they will continue to fight. So that is the position. But meanwhile, we people, we Hindus, we sometimes get confused as to these are the faults which all these people are showing in us. Should I be a Hindu, or is it really so bad? So such questions do arise naturally, do arise in the mind. So it is our duty to understand or say analyze what exactly are the facts. So when you see these three religions, let us say three means one is Christianity and one is Islam and the other is Indic religions in general. Indic religions I include not only Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and also Sikhism. All these four religions I include because they have got certain common factors. I'll explain. So the Abrahamic religions, these two Abrahamic religions, they are started by a person. Actually, they are actually started by a person at a particular point of time. For example, Christianity started by Christ, and Islam, we all know, started by Prophet Muhammad. Whereas in Hinduism or in Indic religions, of course, Buddhism and Jainism, Sikhism, there are people who started the traditions. But then Hinduism, if we take the Vedic religion, it is not started by one person. It is you see hundreds and hundreds of saints, hundreds and hundreds of rishis, as we call them, who actually contemplated on what is truth, what is reality, what is the nature of things. They contemplated, and then it is their contemplations, which are in the form of the Vedas. Vedas are actually contemplations of these rishis, several rishis in several places in the country. At that time, Bharatavarsha was a very, very vast place, starting from Kandahar and almost up to Iraq, and including Simhala, that is Sri Lanka, and then including Bangladesh and all these places, including Burma to some extent. So that in such a vast land, the people were contemplating on reality. And of course, they were meeting now and then. So that is why we see one unity of thought in all their thought. So these are the people who produced the Vedic literature. So we have got lot many people who were debating, who were discussing, who were contemplating on what exactly is the nature of reality. So this was not so in the Abrahamic religions. I'm talking about the only two Abrahamic religions. The other Abrahamic religion, Judaism, I'm not talking because it is totally harmless. In fact, they were the people who were actually persecuted also, like us, like Hindus. So that is one thing. Then second point is they do have only one book. That of course one book is not written by Christ or written by Prophet Muhammad. Their students, after they passed away, after Christ passed away, after a lot many years, some students they got together and then they composed a book. They composed what he said and all that, all the sermons, songs, etc. Similarly, in Islam also, after the demise of Prophet Muhammad, His students, they got down and then they wrote down certain uh, history. History means certain book, some book which they prepared. According to, we do not know whether it is exactly truthful to what he taught, but then they do have one book and something which is inviolable. That is the word of God, and so it is something which is inviolable. Nobody can question it. Whereas in the case of Hinduism, these are we see that not one book, but hundreds and hundreds of books. We see all the Vedas, they are so subdivided, and Vedas, they address all levels of people, not only the ordinary man, but also the philosophically inclined person. Very, very ordinary man requires a very simple God. Vedas tell about that also. Ordinary man requires some sort of ritual. Vedas, they tell that also. Another slightly evolved person, he wants to do some meditation and try to do some concentration, dhyana, etc. Vedas tell that also, it is called upasana kanda. And then somebody wants to think, he wants to know what is reality. So for such people, Vedas also talk about, oh, this is the ultimate reality. You think on these lines. It doesn't say, I am telling you, you listen. I can recall one story from one Upanishad called Taittiriya Upanishad. A son goes to his father. Son's name is Brugurvai Varunihi Varunam Pitaram Upasasara. It goes on like that. His father's name is Varna, who was a great sage. And the son asks his father, "Oh, Dad, tell me what is that supreme reality, what you call Brahman?" So that father, he says, it is something which cannot be told. If it is an object somewhere, yes, this object is like this. It cannot be told in such a simple way. You yourself have to contemplate. You have to think on these lines. You see, all these beings, they come into existence and then they stay for some time, and then not only the human beings and animals, but the whole universe also. The whole universe also, even according to our olden calendar, the whole universe comes, stays for a time, and then it recedes, gets resolved. And then again another universe comes. So you contemplate on this, where from all these things are coming and where they are all going, where to they are all going. And again, what are the tools for your examination? Your tool, the tools which you have is Annam, Pranam, Chakshus, Rotram, Mano, Vachamiti. Annam means the Annakosha. Annakosha is physical body. You have a physical body, you have got the mind, you have got the indriyas. The indriyas means the sense organs. And that is all. The sense organs you have, the indriyas you have got some prana shakti. Prana means that shakti, that energy in the body. So these are the tools which you have. And what exactly is behind these tools? How are these tools getting motivated? And the intelligence which you find in you is the same, which is the intelligence which is in a small ant also. Intelligence or chaitanyam as we call it, or consciousness is something which is common to an ant, to a human being, to a dinosaur, to all. So contemplate on these lines and come back to me. So I will not go into all those details. So ultimately, the conclusion is that God is not somebody who is sitting in heaven. What do the Abrahamic religions say? It is mainly a belief system. I say this, you have to believe. I have got the truth. I have got it directly from the God, and then you listen. God is like that. He is there, sitting in heaven. There is somebody who is opposed to him, who challenges him, and that man's name is some devil or Satan or Satan. So he is there in devil. He is there in hell. He has been thrown out by the God to hell, and then you are supposed to obey God. If you don't obey God, He will again throw you to that hell, which is a dungeon called hell. So this is their hierarchy, and you have to jolly well believe in that. If you don't believe in that, your head may be removed. So that is what is the thing. That is basically a belief system. Whereas in Hinduism, it is not a belief system. It is something which is based on a philosophical thought. It is based on inquiry. When you say that God is something which is not a person, it is of the nature of, ultimately coming back to that story, that the son who contemplates on that Bhrigu, he comes to the realization, yes, this person, what I am thinking, what I am inquiring about, this it is not a person. It is an impersonal entity called consciousness, pure consciousness, infinitely existing consciousness, existence and consciousness. I exist. When I say I exist, there are two aspects in that. I means that existence aspect is there. And when I say I have got that consciousness, I have that intelligence. So intelligence and existence, they are there in me, and they are there for a limited time. And then after that, we do not know what happens. So not only me, all beings. So when I inquire, I means not in 5 minutes or so. There is a lot of inquiry process. All the Vedanta books, there is a lot of inquiry and debates and whatnot. They come to the conclusion that what we call ultimate reality or supreme reality is not some person. It is a shocking news. It doesn't say he is Vishnu. It doesn't say he is a Shiva or Shakti or Amavaru or anything like that. It only says it is something. It is an impersonal entity. It is an infinitely existing consciousness. These three terms are there: infinity, existence, consciousness. Infinitely existing consciousness is what is that reality, and what all we see is only a manifestation in that consciousness. And again, there are debates whether consciousness is appearing as the whole universe, or whether consciousness is existing independently or into matter also. Is matter means what all we see, the physical world, is it also existing infinitely? What is the living being? Living being means not only human being. We take into consideration, start from an ant or a amoeba, whatever, and there is a physical body and there is also intelligence. So this combination of physical body or matter and intelligence, how has it come into existence? So there are huge debates about these things, and that is what we see in Shankaracharya, Ramanuja, Madhvacharya. Shankaracharya says only consciousness is manifesting at the whole universe, not Shankaracharya. According to what Shankaracharya says is, according to the Upanishads, this is the meaning of Upanishads. And then Ramanuja comes and says, no, 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 matter also is there and consciousness also is there. But these two are in one small, what can we say, a team, or they're joined in the body of Vishnu. So that is what he says. Then Madhvacharya comes and says, no, 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 Jiva is totally different. What we call Jiva, the individual prani or living being, is different. And what we call is different. What we call matter is different. So there is a difference all over. So that is called Advaita. So we did not, we have allowed every tradition. We have allowed all these people. We did not debate. We did not question. We merely debated, questioned, and all the debates went on. And even now the debates are going on. But nobody killed each other. Nobody thrust his idea on the other person. You can't thrust your idea on me. So that is what is our philosophy. Even now, Ramanuja followers, they happily follow their philosophy. Shankaracharya's followers, they follow their philosophy. And Shankaracharya's followers means you can also become a Ramanuja follower, you can also become a Madhva follower, or a Madhva follower can become an Advaitin. It goes on. It doesn't matter. So when we say that ultimate reality is one thing called supreme, infinitely existing consciousness, then what about the gods like Rama, Krishna, Vishnu, Shiva, and all these people? All these things, these are forms which are visualized in that consciousness. These are all the forms. They are all the forms which are visualized in that consciousness. And you visualize any form. That is what Gita says. I am not telling my own words. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktaha sraddhaya chitamichyati. It says, 7th chapter. And again, that means whoever, in whatever form, wants to visualize, whatever wants to worship, I respond to them in their own, in that form. So that infinite Lord Krishna speaks like the spokesperson of that infinity. Then one more line from another chapter is there. You worship any god, it doesn't matter. It is like worshipping me only, because there is only one reality. He is speaking on behalf of that one reality. You worship anybody. Yepi anya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayanvita, he says. Yepi anya devata bhakta. You worship any god. It doesn't matter. You are worshipping me only. So that is what he says. That is what we say. Sarvadeva namaskara keshavam pratigachati, we say. That is whatever, whomever you worship. While doing Sandhyavandan also, Shivaya, Vishnu Rupaya. Shiva or Vishnu, both are one. Sarvadeva Namaskara, you worship any god, they go to one reality. So this is our approach. And again, in other religions, naturally, there is no debate, there is no question. If you want to question, it can be called a blasphemy and somebody's head can be cut off. So that is the picture. What do the Abrahamic religions do? They take pride that they have one God only. We have got only one God. You see, Indians, you have got so many gods. If we see our own books, we don't have so many gods. We have only one reality. For them, God is there in heaven. You are here on earth. You have to obey that God's command, which has been passed down through somebody, and you have to believe. You have to believe in that. What somebody said 2000 years ago, or what somebody said some 1400 years ago, you have to believe in that, and you have to follow. if you don't follow, you will be kicked. But then, whereas in our case, there is no such mandate. There is no such mandate that you have to follow this God only. In one house, the husband may be reading Vishnu Sahasranama, the wife may be reading Lalita Sahasranama, the son may be doing Anjane Japam or something like that. In any house, the old man may be reading some about Shiva. So that is what our system is, and we don't question. All are one. We know that when we see our books, we realize that all are one. So there is no question of blasphemy. There is absolutely no concept of blasphemy. And our philosophy is when reality is one, you can visualize it in any form. All our Upanishads, they say that thing. And there is a mandate in the case of Abrahamic religions that you have to spread your religion. You have to spread your religion, and it is your duty to spread your religion right from your birth. And in the case of Islam, it becomes a mandate. It is a mandate. It is mandated to all the people. All the people have to do. At least in Christianity, I'm not sure whether that mandate is there, but with Islam, recently I read some books. I strongly advise you to read some books by an American professor. He is actually a professor in physics who devoted more than 25 years to study Islam. He has written small books, concise in a very concise manner. The gentleman's name is Bill Warner. Bill, Warner, Bill Warner. So he has written several books on Islam. You can get, they are all available on Amazon. So we can get them and then we can read them. So that is this spreading religion. It is actually called jihad. It is mandated for every Muslim. Whereas in the case of Hinduism, there is no such mandate for anybody. There is no such mandate. You lead a good life, you become pure, and our objective is their goal in life is to obey God's command. Our goal in life is to discover ourselves, is to find the oneness with God. You are that Brahman says, you are that Tvam Asi, you are that reality. You are not different from that supreme reality. So how to become that? So how to purify myself? That process of self-purification. It is not a question of listening to somebody's order and going and doing something else on the streets. We're just trying to, we are trying to purify ourselves. We are trying to make ourselves on par with God, on par with that, what we call Brahma. So that is the goal in life. Then again, when we come to about choices, religion says, all other religions say, yes, your religion is this, you cannot go out of this religion. And somebody who gets converted to their religion, he cannot go out. He has to dismiss all other gods. He has to smash all other gods and then become loyal to only one. Whereas in the case of Hinduism, Hinduism does not say like that. Hinduism says, you see, religion, you are just born into a religion. And when you are born into a religion, you don't know how you are born. And then it is by sheer coincidence that we are born into a religion. And when you are born, anybody, a name is given to him. A name, if it is a Christian name is given. If it is a Muslim name is given. For Hindus, Hindu name is given. And your identity is there. Oh, your Gotram is this. If you belong to a particular sect, oh, your Gotram is this, your caste is this, your Varna is this, and then your nationality is this, and your identity is this, all this social identity. Vedanta says very clearly, it is not your identity. You have to throw away all this identity. This identity which the society has given to you is something which is superimposed on you. This superimposition or adhyasa, it is called adhyasa. ADHYASA, adhyasa. If you Google also, you may get lot many articles. Adhyasa, it is a superimposition. When somebody says you are a Hindu, that label called Hinduism is something which is an adhyasa. And who am I then? I am that supreme reality. My real nature is I am that supreme reality. And I am somebody who has to rise above all these things. So that what Vedanta says is you rise above all these things, rise above Vedanta, Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavarjana, all these Vedas, they talk about the whole universe, world, worldly things. You rise above all these things, rise above all these traditions and whatnot. No religion will say this. You rise above the text, you go beyond the text. No religion will say. The religion will say, okay, you follow this, you have to follow this. Whereas our texts say, you go beyond religion, discover yourself. And in the case of Abrahamic religions, we very clearly see that there is religion and politics, both combined. They have got an agenda to propagate their religion, to propagate their empire also. So there is religious imperialism there. Whereas it is absolutely missing, totally missing Religion is basically meant to realize God, realize what it is, realize your real nature. So these are certain things which come to my mind immediately when I talk about, when I compare the Abrahamic religions to with the Vedic religion. And fortunately, if you are born into a religion which is very liberal, you see, in India, when we say that you can worship any god in any form, it is the highest form of liberalism. There is total tolerance, liberalism. It is something which is built into our blood. When you are born into a tradition, why should we not accept it? You are not born in a very intolerant, violent tradition which says, no, you have to go and kill these people. Whoever does not believe in this God, in our God, has to be killed, and their women can be taken as sex slaves. Our religion doesn't say that. So the why not allow it? Why not allow it to be so? So that is what I feel. If you are luckily born into a religion which is absolutely tolerant, absolutely, which is liberal, and which gives total freedom of worship, total freedom of debate. You can question anybody. You can go to any Swami and question. Any Swami means I am talking about some liberals. There may be some Swamis who are again not very well informed. You have to go to a good Swami and question. Good Swami means somebody who has studied the text. There are many Swamis who have not studied the text. You go to somebody who has studied some text and then you question. So they will entertain. They will happily tell you. They will happily enlighten us or clarify our doubts. So when we are born into such a great tradition, why not we allow it to be like that? So this is my answer. Thank you.